and all my colleagues for giving me an opportunity to be with you, especially with my student community. Because, as you know, as you told me, uh, my strength is my students. I have been with my students, my faculty, my community, and that was giving me energy for all the activities what I have done, as Dr. Jiju was telling. Okay, thanks for this. I request my organizers to allow me to see the slides so that we can directly go to the topic.
Devin, sir, your video is not on, sir. We cannot see you. We can only hear you, sir.
Oh, can you see that now? Why the camera is not? Is it not working? I don't know. Is it trouble here with me or?
We can hear you, sir, but we cannot see you.
That's what I also want to see you. I'm clicking the camera, this icon, but.
Okay, sir. That's okay, sir.
Camera on ആവില്ലല്ലോ അത് ഇല്ല അത് ഞെക്കി പറ്റില്ലല്ലോ വീണ്ടും തന്നെ അല്ല ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം ഞെക്കി ലാപ്ടോപ്പില് ഇല്ല അത് ഇല്ല അത് വീണ്ടും മ്യൂട്ടായിട്ട് തന്നെ അപ്പിയർ ചെയ്യുന്നു Sure. So, in the turn of the captions.
Sir, you can just leave the meeting and then rejoin, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We can see you now.
One more. കാണാം സ്ലൈഡോട് പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തോളാം Sir, we can see you, sir. Sir, COVID. Hello, sir. കേൾക്കണില്ല
ഇപ്പോഴോ ക്യാമറയോ
Yes,
Now it is
sir. Camera is on.
കേൾക്കാം കാണാനും പറ്റും. You can continue, sir.
Okay.
Please continue.
No, I am just waiting to get the slides.
Window.
Anyway, I appreciate the organizers of NHEPA. I can see now. Okay, good. For selecting this topic, it's very good. And is it possible to share the slides to all the participants maybe later or after finishing this one? That would be good.
Yes.
I think that will be okay. Okay, shall we start now? Okay. Okay, as the title indicates, facing an interview to win. This is, I believe, the participants are not only the students, the people who are faculty members, is going to be faculty, the research associates and other people. And this, personally, I believe that this session will be useful to everyone because this is not the starting. Once you start the job, that's not the end. We may have to
It's not coming.
yeah, you can. Sorry, you keep the screen and we'll go ahead now. I request my organizers don't play with that, so don't make interruptions. Okay, it's okay now. So shall we go ahead? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So as the top, we'll go to the slides now. First slide. Go to the slide. Okay. So I'm just starting with this topic, the question, why tense? Normally when there is an interview scheduled for any person, for that matter, normally that will create some tension in the mind. The reason is maybe the job we are aspiring for or the possible tense situation that may be created at the time of interview. So the people will be anxious about it. The anxiety creates naturally the tension. But still, we are going to discuss some very brief tips to avoid the tension and to get ready and win the session after the interview, to make the interview successful. There is a need to plan this thing. As any event in our life, we make a plan. Here also, a slight planning is required. I'm just going to discuss the things we have to take care or make a good plan and get ready for the interview. Next one. Should I say next one? No? Okay, good. So it requires preparations, as the slide indicates. Preparations. Remember, the interview is the second stage of screening procedure because first the screening of all the candidates or applicants will be based on their CV or curriculum vitae or the biodata, you can say, what we are submitting along with the application. But that will create a lot, that will make a lot of description about our strength, our capabilities, our qualifications, and our experience, so many things. But this is another important session or aspect or stage in the screening process for any job or any selection, maybe for a higher education or good responsibility or a higher post or whatever. So interview is mainly to assess the personal abilities, the strength you have personally, apart from probably the qualifications described in the curriculum vitae. So here the most important thing that is going to happen is impression management. Because remember, in interview, the interview board or the interview team he is going to scan you for your personal strength apart from the qualifications or other things mentioned in your biodata or curriculum. So here, how you present yourself, including the appearance, the body language, and all these aspects, personality traits, those things are going to be assessed and finally judge your fate to be in or to be out. So here we'll see the next slide. Next slide, please. Here it starts with the choice. See, when we talk about the presentation of yourself in the interview, it starts with the choice of dress because, as you know, no need to say that the dress is a part of your presentation yourself. So it starts with the dress, and also in the preparation, you have to make a very brief resume for distribution at the time of interview. This is not the old biodata, probably extending up to 4 pages or 5 pages or more than that. But it should be normally in 1 page, a brief resume of the personality or the personal strength, including the qualification, other things. So these things are to be prepared. The brief 1 page resume is to be prepared before the interview, and also you have to arrange the documents properly. The documents for presentation at the time of interview, all those things are to be arranged, documented, and properly arranged, preferably in a file. File means the file with pockets, keeping certificates. That type of file is available in the market. Get one file like that. Okay, go to the next slide. Should I say this next slide always? Okay, here I was mentioning with the dress, presentation of yourself. Dress is a reflection of personality to some extent, but more importantly, it is adding confidence of yourself when you appear for the interview. There are certain indications about that. It need not be a costly dress or colorful dress, but it should be clean and good looking. And formal dress is normally preferred because interview is a formal occasion, and normally formal dress, not the casuals, and that's not a problem. But still formal dress is good because you have to show that you're serious about this interview as an occasion. So please avoid the contrasting colors, or the appearance of the dress should not be colorful because that may distract the attention of the board. Interview will be normally by a board of 5 persons or 3 persons, at least more than 1 or 2 persons will be there. So the board will be looking for your appearance or presentation of your personality. So contrasting colors and other distracting elements are to be avoided. So the additional point here is a good dress. If you are going for the interview, it will add self-confidence for the candidate. Naturally, that is there. Then you yourself will feel that I am ready now. I'm presenting myself. Okay. I was mentioning of the resume. It's not the CV, but it should be very brief, preferably 1 page. Why? Because that is the material you are going to distribute to all the members of the board, interview board, or you keep 5 copies because you expect 5 persons are going to be in the board. So keep 5 copies in your hand when you enter the interview room, and give to the chairperson. There will be a chairman. Normally the chairman will be sitting in the middle of the interview board. So the person sitting in the center, you have to greet to him or her first, and when you start the interview, this should be the first thing you have to give to their hand. Make on the table, give this copy, at least 5 copies, they will distribute among themselves, and just one look will tell about you. You should indicate your main qualification, which is qualifying you to be an applicant for this post, and then what are your major strengths for this position you are applying for. So this should highlight your suitability for the post. And this, the most important advantage of this brief resume, which is going to be distributed among them, will be to invite all the questions to the strength you mentioned in this one page paper. So naturally, they will have a tendency to explore or inquire more about those things which are mentioned. That's the thing. Okay. And then the next one. Next, please. So here, naturally, you will have a bundle of sentences, but you require all these things when you go for the interview because only the relevant certificates are to be taken. And these certificates or documents or qualification documents, you arrange in the order of importance for that particular post, not in the order of uh, year, chronological order, no. In the order of your qualification prescribed for the position, then based on that, you have to arrange in a paper and arrange in a pocket in the file with pockets and sequentially arrange that, then you can give it to the interview board. And moreover, this type of filing system is required because otherwise, in hurriedly, when you come back, you may forget to take back something. And if it is kept inside the file, these pockets, it will come back with you. So to avoid the loss, also that is required. Okay, then next slide, please. There are certain other things to be remembered here. The thing is that before the date of interview, you should know for what post or position or the responsibility you are applying for. Learn their mission, their profile, their tasks of the job, and for what they have invited the applications and what are going to be your job in the future. You should have a very good understanding about that. Then only you can answer the probable questions that may arise at the time of interview. And another additional point to be remembered when you go for such interviews, you should be up to date about the current affairs happening in the society. So it is make it a habit uh, before the interview, the previous days, scan through the papers on at least you should know the headlines and read the major topics of the day. Daily, make it a habit at least for 1 week before that, because you should be up to date about the current affairs. There may be a question regarding that, and you cannot say you are not knowledgeable about that. You should know that. Okay, then next one is disturbing to say next. I am unable to change myself. Then remember the previous day of it. If suppose the interview is tomorrow, it is mandatory that you should look at the venue of the interview. If it is an unfamiliar place, you have to go and see the place exactly. There is a location, which is a room and all. And if it is familiar also, make sure that there is the interview is in which room and at what time it starts. That will be known to you, but still to avoid any tension, then locate the place and try to reach there well before the interview time schedule. Then get ready to answer certain additional things when you're going for the interview. Which are these additional things? You should definitely remember always about your personal strength justifying the application to this post. It may include the qualification, work experience, and special achievements related to the post you are applied for. Then these are the probable questions that may come. Why do you wish to work in that organization? You should have an answer, a justification by yourself. And why you think that you are the best person to be selected. For that also you should have an answer. The next one, there'll be additional questions. You should be ready with that. Then if you have already a job, if you're on a job in some organization, why you want to leave that job, or specifically why you want to apply for this post. There should be an answer, clear-cut answer from you. Then naturally in the stage of this age, like at the end of education, there may be a question, why don't you study further? If you are a postgraduate, why don't you go for a doctorate? Or why don't you, even if you have PhD degree, why don't you try for some postdoc fellowship or some other? additional, or why don't you try to go abroad for higher studies? These questions may be asked, but the thing is that you should have an answer for that, everything. Either personal answer or justifiable answer. Then what is your plan for the next 5 years or 10 years? Let's reasonable number time. What is your plan for the future? Then where else you have applied? These are the questions, natural questions that may arise from the interview board. You should have an answer. Still further, if you are offered the job, this also, no need to answer, but you should be clear about that. If you are offered the job, how long you will continue in that organization, or up to what time, 5 years or 10 years, or till what, till higher studies or some fellowship or taking up other very beautiful vocation abroad or some. There should be something in your mind. You should be clear about that. How much time, if you are offered the job, how much time you require to join? Maybe 1 month or 2 months. How much? That also is important for the employers, because some employers may not have much time to offer. Maybe within a month you are supposed to join. At least minimum requirement you have to mention. Maybe 1 month notice or something. Suppose you're employed somewhere, there may be more time required because you have to get leave from them. In the course of preparation, before interview starts, you have to note down these common questions and answers you have to write down, not for giving to anybody, but then once you write down, you will remember that. To avoid confusion, that will be good. And when you go for interview, it will avoid all the tension from your mind. So many of the questions may not be asked, but you should be ready for that. Next one. Just before the interview, remember, this in sequence I have prepared this slide. Check whether all documents are taken in the file. Cross-check. Then reach the venue, location, where you have located the previous day, at least 10-15 minutes before the time. And registration or verification of documents will be there before the interview starts. So at least 15 minutes before you have to be there. Then after the document verification, then the interview will start. Then remember that late coming is a disqualification for any interview, as in the case of serious formal occasions. Then long waiting time may be there. So that simple waiting may make you tense when you are seriously appearing for the interview, particularly for job interviews. This expected time gap. So keep something to read instead of listening to music from the mobile phone. The keeping a book is better. That's why I have written that. So that will make you relax. Ensure that dressing is proper and with all these things. I'm just mentioning. Sometimes a button is properly dress is properly made and some dirt is there and the other things are there. That is a minus point. Then glittering ornaments for females, even for males, it may invite negative points. These are all things, especially when nowadays it's a time of corporate sectors interview, where industrial organizations interview. The interview board is serious about your personal presentation in the interview, because that will tell about the person, his style and his or her style and probable behavior in the future. So watch, pen, belt, well-polished shoes, all these things are required. Checking is required. Okay, then go to the next one. At the time of interview, now your name is called. Walk confidently inside, look at the board members. Keep eye contact with board members. Imagine there are 5 persons or 3 persons or 5 persons sitting at the other side, and there will be a chair meant for the candidate. So that will be opposite to them. So when you enter, go near to the board members, greet them first. I have written offer a handshake, but now in this COVID time, it's not allowed. It's not advisable also. But probably other times it's good. Give a shake hand, and that type of greeting or shake hand, whatever it is, it should be addressed to the chairperson who is normally in the middle. And keeping eye contact is very important. Not only chairman, all other people. When they start interview, one by one will be asking question. Who is asking question to you? Keep eye contact. That person who is the interviewer. Interviewer should get eye contact with you, and gazing eye contact is not advisable, or shifting eye contact is also not advisable, because eye contact is one important sign of your confidence. You can keep eye contact directly to the person only if you're confident enough. So that should be remembered always. Seek permission to occupy your seat. Have a seat there, then be natural and relax. And then when the interview starts, when you greet them, say good morning or whatever. After that, when they start question, first you present your resume. You prepared 1-page resume, 5 copies. You give to the center, the chairperson, supposed to be the chairperson. He or she will take it and distribute to the other people, which will help, which will be a good guideline for other people to ask questions, or it will be a good material for you also, because you can bring all this, their attention or their questions, to the strength you have mentioned in the brief resume. So give that first. By the time they read that, they will start the interview process. And remember, keeping eye contact is very important when you're undergoing the interview process. Listen to the questions carefully. And if some question is not heard properly, seek further clarification, or you can be very free and open to them and tell, kindly repeat the question so that you can hear the question. Never jump to any inference. Think for a while and make sure that you are answering to the point. You are not beating around the bush. You are not pressing any guesswork, but to the point. You tell. If you are not sure about that, be open, be honest to tell that I am not sure, but I think this is my viewpoint. You present your viewpoint and try to convey what is there in your mind for each question. Think and answer. That should be the pattern of attending the interview. It reflects your confidence. And one more point I want to say here: always keep your face a pleasant face. A pleasant face, a smiling face, that reflects a self-confidence. So, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, the body language is reflecting your personality. So, this is not, apart from reading your biodata, this is a scanning of your personality, and the interview process is said to be a personal interview. Personal interviews to screen the personality. Here, believe that, and your personality should be pleasant, always with a positive thinking, and that type of presentation is there. Means, remember, keep a smiling face. How to keep a smiling face means, don't reflect any tension or anxiety on your face. You have to take a decision on that. And when the question is not clear, never bluff. But if you have a particular opinion about that, think that this is your opinion, or this is the way in which you think, because nobody is expected to know everything. If the question is something which is unknown to you, you just tell what you think, and not bluffing, but you just openly admit that this is how you think about that. Okay, then. Okay, next test, please. There are occasions when the interview may move to a topic of different opinions. If your opinion is different and their opinion is different, when their viewpoint is different, never make an argument. If you have a strong opinion regarding some, for example, the policy of the government, state government or central government or any international organization, the policy, you may not personally agree with that, but never go to the argument with the board. But you can present your views, but you can say that this is my viewpoint and justify with your reasons. Logical arguments you can present. But at the same time, honoring the viewpoints of other people, not only board, in other viewpoints of other people also, you have to appreciate, telling that people have different views about it. Probably they have their own reasons, but my view is like that. So with a positive thinking, present your views and present the points to the interview board, appreciating other views also. Remember that you are presenting you as a positive person always. Okay, then next slide. Next is going to be the last slide. Here, the interview, once the interview is over, maybe half an hour or 1 hour, whatever it is, once the interview is over and once you feel that the interview is completed, then thank the interview board for the opportunity given to you or a chance given to you for appearing for the interview, and never ask for about your performance or never expect any curiosity about the result also. That will come in the natural way. But remember that before you leave the seat, seek their permission to leave. If they say, okay, you can go, give thanks and leave the place. But remember that you have taken all the documents, including the file and the materials here, except probably the material you distributed, except the resume, 1-page resume. Leave it, forget about it. But remember to take all the certificate file with pockets and other things that you have taken, and you express your thanks to them, and then you can leave the place. Okay. It's what I wanted to say. Okay. Okay, thank you, organizers, Dr. Binu. This is what I want to say here now. I think this is the time for discussion or raising clarifications or questions, and I'll be very happy to express my viewpoints. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay.
Sir, we are inviting. Sir, we are inviting questions from the audience. They may be posted in the chat box too. We will take.
Okay, good. Reduce tension. Can you ask a question? I could see that the question came there, but I am unable to see this.
How
Can you repeat the question? I am unable to see that properly.
Yes, sir. Shalini is in the meeting. She has posted a question on how to reduce tension at the time of interview.
Okay,
Shalini, are you in the? Shalini, if you are there, you can come forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Shalini,
Good afternoon,
sir.
You are from the campus here?
Yes, sir.
You are from this campus or KU campus?
No, sir. RMT University, Punjab, Mandi Govindgarh, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So this, I appreciate the question. It's a natural question, and that's the purpose of this session, I believe. How to reduce the tension? That's your question now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. So, from my experience and from my learning, I have no capsule type answer, but the thing I can you hear me?
Yes,
okay. A good preparation, which I mentioned at the beginning of the slide series. Getting ready for the interview with a lot of preparations, that making a resume, then locating, and also getting a good, can you hear me? Getting a good understanding about the organization, their mission, their activities, and other things. You should know, you're supposed to know. Then you are ready for interview, because you are going to be, imagine that you're going to be selected. If you are selected, you should be a good candidate or good appointee as far as they are concerned. For the employer, you should prove you are worthy. For that, you have to get ready. You have to get ready means understanding about the organization, their mission, and your job responsibilities. All these things you should have a good understanding. Apart from your subject knowledge is not much important here because you are proving by your qualifications, certificate, and other things, your qualification you have mentioned in the application. But here, your understanding and your readiness about entering the organization is to be proved at the time of interview. For that, these are the things: having an understanding about the organization, their mission, their task, and other things. If you have a good understanding, there is no tension for you because you are ready. That readiness itself will give you much confidence for this interview. And as I mentioned, prepare about the body language, sitting position, including the position, then keeping a smiling face, keeping eye contact always. That will indicate that you're confident because you have to give the message to the interview board always. You are a confident candidate. You have no tension about that. That message should go from you only by these techniques. Are you getting the point? What I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have some more questions, some clarification. Any other person?
If Shalini is done with, I'm taking the question from Vipin Kumar. He has posted a question on what methods can you suggest for a first-time interviewer to be prepared. Vipin Kumar, if you are in the meeting, please come forward with your query.
Vipin Kumar.
The question properly from what you have posted. You can straight away post your question.
Yes, ma'am. A very good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Myself, Vipin Kumar. I am pursuing my master's from NDRI, Karnal, Haryana.
Karnal, okay, good.
My question is that as a first time, if I want to give interview in any institution or any company, at that time, before it, what activities or methods I can do or practice to relax myself or just release the tension? Someone has suggested that you just sit in the front of mirror and look out for your posture.
No, Vipin, that's a wrong notion. Not going to the mirror and seeing you by yourself. No. But these are the things. Remember, for interview, what is the purpose of interviewing you? You think about that. There is a purpose for the interview board or the employer to make a personal interview, face-to-face interview. There is a purpose. The purpose is to see the strength in you. Apart from the documents, see the strength in you. That should be reflected in your appearance in the interview board. So for that, these are the points which I mentioned. First, to learn about the purpose of the job you are applying for. And you should have a clear understanding about the organization to which you are applying. So you should know the type of organization, their mission, their task, the activities undertaken by them. That you should know well before entering the organization. So if you are knowing, at least having an understanding about that, that should be reflected at the time of interview. Naturally, the questions will come related to that. When you present that, even otherwise, because you know that you will be always confident and there will not be any tension. And this confidence will be reflected on your face and also in your words. It will be reflected, definitely. So once you reflect that, you are not doing, it will be automatically coming. Once you are reflecting that with a smiling face, keeping the eye contact, then done. It is done.
Okay, sir. I got it, sir.
Am I answering your question?
Yes, sir. I got it. Sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vipin. Next is from a question from Richu Matthew Sunil. He has asked, share a sample for a single page resume for the interview. He has asked for, I think we can, Sir may tell on what are the things that can be included.
Okay, yeah, it's a very, very, very interesting and relevant question. One page, I don't say one page, or at least it should not exceed one paper. One page, 2 pages is okay, but the purpose is it should not be a stapled document list. One piece of paper is enough. If both sides are printed also, it's okay, because that will be easy to distribute, as well as for them also easy to see. The most important points to be included is that your name, obviously, your date of birth, obviously, because to show your age, and plus your qualifying degree. What is your basic minimum qualification asked for this job, and which year you passed out, and your distinction or whatever class, first class or first rank or whatever. Yes, it's a one small piece, a table you can present. Can you hear me? I think you are discussing, so I can wait for you to stop, then I can continue. Okay.
Sorry for the
Okay. Because I'm hearing other voices that way. Otherwise, you can talk and I can stop. Okay, sorry. I think what I was mentioning, one page, which are the important things to be in qualification, plus the additional strength you have related to the job you are applying for. Additional strength means not only physical, but experience, in terms of experience, previous experience, or your special project or special interest. To, for example, a person is very much versed with computer applications. That may be additional qualification for that particular job. If it is so, that should be mentioned in this one-page resume. Exceptional skills you have, additional skills particularly related to the task, which is what are the things that are there. Those strengths are to be mentioned to invite the questions from strength. That is the purpose. I underline the word you to invite the questions to your strength which you already possess. So those things are to be included in the resume, apart from the biodata you are submitted along with the application. Am I answering your question, my friend?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Richu. Sir, the next question is from Jayesh Pawar. He's asking how to face difficult and tricky questions.
How to face difficult and tricky questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. What do you mean by this difficult question or tricky question? What is your idea in that question? What do you understand? I know. What do you think about it? Then I can give the exact answer you want.
Jayesh, are you there? Can you come up?
Is it related to your subject specialization, difficulty related to that one, or tricky question means indirect question? You mean what is the thing you're meaning with this question? What do you intend to clarify?
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Myself,
okay, tell me.
Myself, Jayesh Pawar from Nasik, Maharashtra. I had done my graduation in BTech in food technology from MIT College, Pune.
Pune,
sir,
food technology.
My question is.
Okay.
My question is how to face the difficult questions and tricky questions.
Difficult means subject-wise difficulty or related to the
Yeah, related to subject, sir.
Subject.
When we suppose not answering it, then
okay,
what we will do?
If I'm right from your question, if the question is related to the subject matter which is making you eligible for the particular post, then it becomes a difficult question for you. But if it is related to your qualifying subject specialization, you are supposed to know the basic things about your subject specialization. You are supposed to know. Then the general idea you have about your subject, you tell that this is what I think, what I assume that this is the answer for that. you have to be honest to tell that, because you are not expected to be an expert master of all subjects, but you have a specialization, as you told, food technology. If you're specialized, and if the question is about food technology, you give the answer as you think, and tell that this is what I assume, or this is what I understand. Openly tell that this is what is your understanding about that. Then that will be appreciated. You have to be honest in answering the question. That's it. Am I answering your question? Then
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
did
you,
I answer your
Jayesh.
question
Thank you,
completely?
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Okay.
the next question is from Dikshit. He
Dikshit.
asks,
Ah.
sir, his question is, do you really think you are fully equipped for the job? If the interviewer is asking a question like this, do you really think you are fully equipped for the job? And
Okay.
another question, will you continue in the job if you are selected? If these type of questions are coming, how should we respond? That's the question raised by Dikshit.
Okay, Dikshit, you are from which place?
I'm from Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay,
Andhra
good.
Pradesh, sir.
Dikshit, these two questions I already mentioned in the slide list. Unfortunately, I could not explain much because we are going at speed. This is a natural question you can expect. So you should be ready with the answer for these two questions, because any type of interview, job interview, these are two questions will be asked. One thing,
Okay, sir.
why do you think that you are the best candidate for this job? You have to prove, or you have to substantiate your ability, and you have to justify your application. That will, it may be accepted or not, but no, you have to justify why you applied. The thing is that you always believe that you are the best candidate to be selected. And the other question, that is also a natural question, will you join this job, and how long you will continue in this, or will you jump like a monkey from one tree to other tree, jumping? That will not be it. So be ready with an answer that why do you want to continue in that. So that's why I told you should have an understanding about the organization for which you're applying. So you have to justify that why do you like that type of organization. You should have an answer for that. If you have the answer, no problem. You can face the interview boldly and confidently. Dikshit, am I answering the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At the same time, sir, I have one
Okay.
more doubt.
Oh, sure.
If the question like that is asked, will you continue in the job if you are selected? Should we be honest in that such that, or else we can,
You
should
know,
we be honest? Yes.
hey, you should be honest, but why do you apply for this post? You applied
Yes, sir.
to join,
Yes.
no?
Yes.
So your purpose is joining the job. So don't say that I may or may not join. No. They want a firm answer. You should be firm. And when you go for interview, decide that you want to join the job. Then you have to tell that I want to join job. But you should have a plan for the coming days also. You cannot bluff on that. But you decide whether you are going to join the job. Otherwise, don't go for the interview. Well, because you are going for the interview, substantiate or prove that you want to join. Why do you want to join? Because you find that the job is lucrative, or at least it is attractive to you, impressive for you. Then you have to tell that. You cannot say that I may or may not. No. Then better to avoid going for the interview. Am I answering your question?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions from participants? Participants, do you have any other question?
Hello, sir.
Okay. Tell me, who is that?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
I can hear you. Tell me, you tell your name.
Sir, I'm Richu Matthew Sunil. I'm currently doing
I can
my
see you.
masters
I can see you. Okay, Richu Matthew Sunil. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm currently doing my masters in Central Agricultural University, Imphal.
Where?
Yes,
Where?
sir.
Which
Meghalaya.
Central Agricultural University?
Sir,
CAU.
Meghalaya. Yes, sir. CAU, sir.
CAU, which campus? Because I
Sir,
was there.
Meghalaya, sir. Meghalaya, sir.
Meghalaya is a home science college. CAU.
Sir, postgraduate CPG says postgraduate college is there, sir.
In which campus? Pura?
Sir, Riboy, sir.
Okay, okay, not Meghalaya. Okay, okay. The other PG, yeah, PG college. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, my doubt is that when they are asking, sometimes in interviews like stress interviews, they'll be asking questions like for which the answer will be a dilemma, like that if
Tell me one example.
Sir,
if you tell me an example.
Yes, sir. If whether you will support the
support, whether you will support. Hello, Richu,
company
I can't hear
an
you.
accident, what will you do?
It's okay. Tell me. Please repeat.
Sorry, sir.
Repeat what you said. Okay. I can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
Tell me.
Like that, if whether you'll be asked whether you will be supporting the customer more or standing with the company, or if something wrong is done in the company, what will you do? Or if you see an accident on the road on the way to your interview, will you support?
Okay.
Will you go for that? Such dilemma questions. What will you? How will you handle?
No, there is no dilemma, because if your application for a post in a private company, naturally the company's interest should be protected by you as an employee later in future. So the interview time, they want to assess whether you are going to support the client or the company. You have to support the company definitely, but at the same time you have to please the customers or the clients, because a private company will employ the persons who will do both. Please the client, at the same time protect the company. Both are required. So your answer should be both. You keep in mind that what type of person they look for. They are looking for a person who is supporting them or protect the company's interest, at the same time who has a good public relations skill, or who is always pleasant to the client. He should be, or the candidate, he or she should be pleasing both the company as well as the client. Both are to be protected. This should be borne in mind when you're giving an answer. So give an answer in that way. You should always protect the interests of the company. At the same time, you want to please the customers, and that should be a good public relation part of personality who will be normally preferred by the company. Richu, am I answering your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Richu. Participants, any other query? Sir, I think all of them have asked the questions, and no other questions are in chat box.
Dr. Sulaja, I have a request to you. Will you kindly give the handout, copy of the handout? It is already given to Dr. Binu. If you can arrange that, let them carry one copy of it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Handwritten materials, yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be in the session. Okay.
One more question in the chat box, sir.
Yes,
this question is from Anis Muhammad. Anis, are you there? Can you directly ask, sir? Or shall we read the question?
That will be better. Anish.
Anis, are you there?
Name of the person who is
Anis Muhammad.
Anish.
Anis.
Okay, Anish Muhammad. Okay.
Sir.
Okay. What's the question?
This question is not directly related to today's subject. Still, from your experience, international experience, he wants to answer. What all expectations should we might have to compromise in terms of monetary benefits and career progress in corporate sector post-COVID scenario?
Okay, Anis. I could see the question. Yeah. He can't ask the question directly now. Some audio problem. Okay. So if I'm right to get your question now, The question is, to what extent you can compromise about the monetary benefits?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So monetary benefit is always important for a candidate. Now, you are applying for a job, whether it is in corporate sector or anywhere, there should be monetary benefit, monetary things are there. That should be attractive. That is obviously because you are qualified for that. Naturally, that in the COVID scenario also, the candidate who is moving anywhere, moving away from your home place, naturally there should be compensatory mechanism in terms of monetary benefits. That should be there. And you can negotiate with that, keeping in mind the monetary benefit you are going to accrue from this post. That otherwise you have to look for different options, different positions. The world is not a small place now. It has become very closer and closer. Probably except this COVID scenario, we are free to travel anywhere in the world, and we are free to search for any job in different organizations in different countries. That is also there. Possibilities are many. Now, I believe that maybe after 1 year, the avenues will be opened again. So then once the doors are open, you can have negotiation based on your strength, and you can keep in mind how much benefit, not only monetary benefit, other benefits, other opportunities, even seeing people, seeing places, that is also a benefit. Think in that way. Not only money coming to the pocket, but opportunities are more valuable. Seeing the people, seeing the places, and getting the opportunities. For that, how much you can sacrifice, how much you can compromise, no problem for that. Am I answering Annie's? I think I was answering your question according to my perspective, the way in which I am looking at it. That's why probably people think in different ways, but I am ready to travel anywhere in the world if I get a chance. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, okay. Anis, thank you. I got the message. I got the reply. If you're convinced, I'm happy about it. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anis. Any more questions? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for a very wonderful session. It was so informative and inspiring as always, sir. Now, may I request Dr. Binupi Boni, co-PA NAHEP CAST project, to have concluding remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Sulaja. So it has been a wonderful experience. You have taken us down the memory lane as if we were sitting in your PG classes some 20, 30 years ago. It was a wonderful session, insightful and inspiring as always. On behalf of all at Kerala Agriculture University, especially the NHP CAST team, I place on record a formal word of thanks for being with us, for sharing your experience and expertise with our students, sir. And I may also thank our Director of Extension, Dr. Jiju Alex, who took time out of his hectic schedule to be here. I know the relation he keeps with our guest speaker for the day, and he was here to welcome sir to this session. Thank you, Jiju sir, for that. And I also appreciate my colleague, Dr. Sulaja, and others who have been helping me all through in organizing the session. I remember with gratitude the services of our PI, Dr. Sujata, Dr. Sudhir, and most importantly, I place on record the participants who have joined us from across the country. You're together with us for all our sessions. Thank you for the continued patronage we are getting from all of you. Thank you once again, sir, for your valuable time and patience with us. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Binu, sorry.
Yes, sir.
May I make a request to you?
Sure,
Kindly
sir.
kindly share my email ID also with the participants so that they can continue the contact. They can raise their clarifications anytime, even in future. I'll be available as long as I'm in this world. If not India, I will be somewhere, and the reply will come within a day, guaranteed.
See the difference. Yesterday we had a corporate trainer, and today we have a teacher by profession and at heart. See the.
So kindly share my email ID also to the participants so that we can continue our contacts. Okay, thank you, thank you.
I'll definitely do it, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Privilege for us to have you with us, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
One and all. Tomorrow we'll be meeting for next session, last of the series. So once again, thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. And thanks to all the participants gathered here. The program comes to an end. Thank you once again and goodbye.
Okay, thank you.
Any feedback link is available for participants?